I'm Matt Ashba, Director of Product Development here at Lionel. We've recently released our first two catalogs for the year, our 2010 Ready to Run catalog and also our Signature Edition Volume 1. Between the two of these catalogs, Lionel is offering a wider variety of product than we've ever done before. Just as it's organized in the catalog, we're going to start by looking at some special new additions in our Vision line scale locomotives. First items that we'll be looking at are the scale Hudsons that we're offering, as well as the scale Challengers.
Hudson actually is one of my favorite, and it's one of those main steam engines, and there's lots of Hudsons out there, but this Hudson is going to be like nothing that anyone has. And taking the Vision effects and all the features that the Vision has, smoking whistle, the operating bell. I mean, imagine the Hudsons that you have right now in your layout, and then you put this one on, and it just does what it was supposed to do.
So we have with the 700E that we're releasing, we have a tooling that goes all the way back to the original pre-war tooling. But we're taking this engine and we're giving it upgrades in detail to make it more accurate. We're going to give it the upgrades to the lighting and to the operation, as well as the smoke features. And like you said, you'll have the swinging bell as well. So you're going to really get that modern treatment of a classic that we know has been a part of many train fans' lives for decades. Just to make it clear, your Vision line Hudson will include the swinging bell feature. It will have the whistle steam. You'll have the new high torque motor that's going to allow us to bring this locomotive to all the modern operating standards with our legacy system. You're going to see improved detailing, improved lighting and smoke features, as I mentioned, and we are very excited about this coming out, and we hope that you are too.
And the good thing about this is you don't have only just the option of the black New York Central Hudson, but you also have the gunmetal gray as a second option.
For 2010, we have another exciting Vision line locomotive that we'd like to announce and to show to you today. It's the 4664 Challenger. We're offering the Vision version of this in two road names, Union Pacific and Clinchfield. For the Union Pacific, you'll see two different paint schemes, the black scheme as well as the Greyhound scheme. For the black ones, you'll see that we'll be using the coal type tender, and for the Greyhounds, we'll be using the oil-fired tenders. For the Clinchfield, in addition, you'll be getting the single stack version versus the dual smokestacks for the Union Pacific. I also don't want to forget to tell you that for Union Pacific, the black versions, you'll have two different road numbers, and that's true for the Greyhound versions as well. So there'll be 4 total Union Pacific Vision line Challengers for 2010. I'd like to go through with Ramey and Rich some of the key Vision features that we have for the Challenger.
Some of the features, smoking whistle with the variable control with the legacy system.
Okay, so the whistle steam effect for
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
And what we did is we went with a new effect, and we are doing the dynamo, the steam generator. And what that will indicate is, like, for instance, when you start up the engine, and the engine does that prototypical startup, you're going to hear this, whoop, and steam is actually going to start emitting from that dynamo.
Right.
And we're as usual, we're increasing lighting effects. The cab interior light effects as well. Legacy speed control that is going to just make the fidelity, the smooth transition for the engine when it's running on the track just as smooth as possible. Also, we're adding Rail Sound 6.
Rail Sound 6 on this one. Huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in the steam engine as well as the tender.
Oh, is this the dual sounds we've been hearing about?
Yeah, imagine when you're running that engine and you actually hear the let-offs, the let-off sounds and the whistle and the bell emitting right from that engine.
So you really have a more localized, realistic sound. So sounds that really more emanate from the locomotive, you're actually going to hear it from that locomotive area.
Yeah.
And probably, I would guess, that even with your regular traditional sound, typical sounds, you probably will have an even more realistic sound overall.
Yeah, because you're going to have it in the tender
Uh-huh.
as well as the engine.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we are very conscientious of our sounds, and we want to try and make it thick and as rich as possible. And then it's very exciting.
So
cool.
really, for this Challenger locomotive, we are really upgrading the sound, taking it up the notch one more with this new dual sound features.
Also, I'd like to just take a second to say that you can access the switches from the top of our Vision locomotives. So gone are the days when you have to stop to reprogram, turn off the smoke unit, change the lighting, whatever it is that is required in that particular locomotive. You can just access that by removing steam domes, sand domes, things like that. It gives you access to turning off certain features, whether it be the Odyssey speed control, if it's smoke, if it's a reprogramming that you're looking to do with the legacy system. It makes it so much easier for you.
Don't forget turning down the volume too.
Oh, and the volume access is in the roof as well.
One thing we've forgotten to mention completely are the smoke deflectors. On all of these locomotives that we will be offering for 2010, the smoke deflectors will be removable. So now, with those removed, you're not going to see any markings, am I correct? They won't be visible at all.
Right.
So you can run your engine with or without them and have it look just as beautiful either way. We'd now like to move on to the Vision Line diesel that we're offering in 2010. The Canadian Pacific had a number of ES44 ACs. That is what the hybrid is based on. The hybrid is an ES44 AC hybrid version. What we're doing with the Canadian Pacific is we're taking their existing ES44 ACs and giving it the added hybrid features that you've seen with the Evolution hybrid in the GE scheme.
Just like we did in the hybrid before, the charging lights, which are controllable, you can turn them off and run them without the lights at all, or turn them on and have them run. So when you're running and you brake, those charging lights will then they'll switch and they'll indicate, you know, pulling from the battery. Or when you accelerate, you'll see the charging light switch and it indicates, just like in the real thing, that it is drawing from there. I need this additional 2,000 horsepower to get running. The other thing is the intercooling fans, the turbo intercooling fans will run. And these things operate, they don't just turn on. It's as you're running and you reach a certain speed and a load, that is when those actual intercoolers, they do turn on. So this is the same thing that we would do in the real locomotive. Rail Sound 6. The nice thing too is, you know, all die-cast shell, is we can pop this off and all of the switches, the battery, all the connections are right there. Easy access like we do with all of our Vision locomotives. Slip back on. Okay. And details as well, you know, where you can just remove the cab roof and look down, lit dash. The illumination, the lighting illumination is, I think, probably one of the best we've ever done. The nice thing about the smoke is, like most diesels out there, you turn it on and it's just blowing out. This is actually controlled so that when the engine's sitting there, the exhaust is actually at its minimum. And when the engine runs, if I rapidly increase my throttle on the legacy system, you're going to see that effect increase. And once the engine exceeds that load and starts to get to speed, it's actually going to cut back.
We're happy to announce a brand new category of scale cars for 2010 called the Postwar Scale line. This will give those of you who appreciate scale accuracy and realistic high-end features a new avenue for enjoying post-war trains. First of all, we are offering the Scale F3, done in both the Canadian Pacific and Milwaukee Road paint schemes.
And with those F3s, you'll get legacy control system, you're going to get rail sounds, you're going to get all the features that go with the rail sounds, including the 8 diesel RPM levels. You're going to get the dual powerful maintenance-free motors in the powered units. You're going to see fan-driven smoke.
Our second entry in the post-war scale line for 2010 is our Virginian FM Trainmaster, done in the original 2331 Virginian scheme. This is the blue and yellow version of this locomotive, and it has a lot of great features.